Hello everybody, and yes, season's greetings, Merry Christmas, as you can see with background there. It's time for another Christmas special. Time to review Voyage of the Damned, starring the 10th Doctor, David Tennant. No television companion for revived series stories, however I'll quickly go over the plot here. So the Doctor arrives on the Titanic, which happens to be a spaceship that is doing cruises around the universe. And this Titanic is going to be sabotaged and it's going to crash into Earth and cause all sorts of hassle due to the fact of its founder of the company that runs it, Max Capricorn, deciding he's going to have a better time now he's outside the board, destroying everything and killing everything and making money that way instead of making money in a more traditional and sensible way, I suppose is the polite way of putting it. And the whole idea is a disaster Christmas special, which ends up with the ship Nelly crashing into Buckingham Palace. And that's the basic storyline. We'll go through some of the bits I like and some of the bits I don't. Overall, bits I like, I think it's fairly well paced for what it's doing. It sets up some of the main protagonists and characters in here. You've got the Van Hoffs of Foon and Morvin, played by David Chasen and Clive Rowe. They are kind of won a competition. They're kind of like the down and outs, the special people who've joined this ship on a cruise and they're enjoying everything. You've got Mr. Copper, played by Clive Swift, who does a very sweet performance as one of the guides. We have as well George Costigan playing Max Capricorn, the big boss. We've got Gray O'Brien playing Rickson Slade, the slimy businessman who thinks he's out for himself. We have appearances from Russell Tovey as Midshipman Frame, Alonso Frame, which gives one of the most famous and fun lines that the 10th Doctor does in this story. And we've got Geoffrey Palmer as Captain Hardacre, his last appearance in the series as well, after making multiple appearances in the 70s. Playing the captain. But the main two, of course, are the lead, David Tenant, and Kylie Minogue. I'll go into the casting a bit more in a minute, but we'll just go into some of the facts I noticed. The TARDIS is very quick to fixing itself when the Titanic crashes through it. I noticed that. Because it was kind of like, oh dear, what's going to happen now? Is the TARDIS the iceberg? No, TARDIS is just like a meteor that's crashed into. But get it sorted. It's the first variation of the Morrigo theme that we hear. It's the more drummy and bassy and fun Doctor Who theme that we have here, which would be synonymous with the 4th series and the specials. As I say, we have the Christmas Angels, so another Christmas thing. Last couple of years it's been Santas. This year it's Angels, very brutal, lethal robots, basically. I like the fact they start with information, then say what they want to say forward to you, and they're quite sinister. I love the fact they've got the halos that can come off as vicious blades. It's the first appearance of Wilf, although this time it was a special appearance by Bernard Cribbins, because at this stage it wasn't established that Wilf was Donna's grandfather. But he makes an appearance, obviously, in the next series, and that was due to changes they had to do due to situation with the actor who played Donna's father. But this is the first appearance of Wilf in the series, and we see kind of like he's playing basically a newspaper man in the corner, scared about everybody leaving London, because obviously the past 2 years there's been tragedy happening in London Christmas. So everybody's evacuated London, apart from him and Buckingham Palace, as it turned out, which is an interesting plot point. There's a couple of analogies. You've got the captain, who I think it was more the second command, wasn't it? There was more the issue of potentially causing problems in the original Titanic, but the captain here is the one who will go down with the ship, literally goes down with the ship on this one. The meteoroids that are coming towards, that get attracted by the Titanic, are analogies for the icebergs, so there is tragedy there. The Doctor does comment on the fact that the Titanic is quite a tragic ship overall. You've then got, of course, the bravado and the selfishness of Rickson Slade. It's good he doesn't actually change his character really all the way through. He's always out for himself and a bit selfish over the whole situation, and it's nice to see that he keeps that to the end, more or less. Very selfish man at the end of the day. It works for me. It definitely works for me as a concept of this vicious pan, because you've got all these situations where you get these characters who develop and become good at the end of this, and it's nice to have somebody who survives that maybe shouldn't deserve to have survived, and Copper does make that clear. The Angels lifting the Doctor up near the end is a bit far-fetched, but it was quickly explained by the line saying the Doctor's the highest authority now that the Captain's dead and Max Capricorn's dead, and I thought that's a bit weird and strange, but it's part of the thing. That's really one of the main only downside properly. The idea of the teleport trying to revive Astrid, I think that's a little bit of a silly, convoluted plot line. It's cute, it gives a kind of sad ending and point ending to the story, but it's not ideal. It's a bit of a contrived point, really. The fact the Doctor turns around and says, "Take me to your leader, I've always wanted to say that." He said it a couple of times. Most notable I remember is the face of evil. I think it's the first time he said it in the TV series, the Revive series, but it's not the first time the Doctor's ever said that, so that's a bit of a misnomer from Mr. Davies there. Can't get everything right, though. And I love the fact that obviously the Angels keep saying, "Information, you're all going to die." So those are some of the bits I like and everything, but the main plotline itself is very disaster movie-esque. It's paced very well. There's elements there of peril and escapade when they try to escape for the robots and try and squeeze through the Van Hoffs in those very small spaces. I love the fact that you've got the snipey comments from Slade all the way through to the Van Hoffs until they perish when they're going over the beam. I love the way that Froon sacrificed herself to save them when the Angel's about to attack them on the beam. This is not long after Morven has felt his death, because they were talking about the fact that it's steel, it's strong steel, it'll be able to take you weight, and then all of a sudden he falls through the railings into the engines, which I thought was really sad, but I suppose adequate to an extent. So there's a lot of little peril set pieces you get all the way through to keep the tension adventure up, and it gets to the stage the Doctor says, "Right, I'm going down to where the robots are being controlled in level 31. Finds Max Capricorn. Max Capricorn gives all his quotes and his reasons for the ship dying, literally being dived and crashed into Earth and all the destruction that happens. There is one point that I didn't notice in Turn Left, which I've noticed in Voyage of the Damned, is that they mention that the ship would cause untold damage to the Earth and probably destroy all life on Earth. Well, the ship crashes in Turn Left, and it always seems to be London that gets destroyed. So that's interesting how that is the case. So I can't recall if there's any plot contrivance to get round that, but yeah, that's a bit of a misnomer between the two. You've got to notice. You've got Jimmy V playing Bana Kafalata. I think this is the last time he makes an appearance. And it's a nice little appearance. It's an interesting little plot twist. He's an android. I did quite like that. That's quite cute. Let's go through some of the castings and actors a bit more. So you've got David Tenant as the Doctor. Do you know what? The whole thing, you get the feeling that they found their stride here with the whole series, because it just runs such well a pace, and it sets up well Series 4, which would come up a few months later. And it sets it up really well. Tennant is great. There's moments of anger, there's moments of intelligence, there's moments of comedy in there. He's very much a very comfortable role by now. When something's brilliant or something's good, you don't know where the faults are and you don't know what the good things are. If it's just consistent, and this is one of these consistent ones, it really does work for me, and it's really quite nice to have that sort of characterization. I do love David Tennant's role at this point, and I think he's at his pomp, he's at his height. He's just had the loss of Martha leaving again. He tries to get Astrid to come with him. The pain when Astrid falls to her death after saving him from Max Capricorn, I thought it was really quite cute and soft and lovely. Carly does a good role. I mean, you've got to remember, Carly is originally an actress. She was in Neighbours initially before she started a singing career. She knows how to act. She knows how to do it. And I love the little quotes where the Doctor makes a quote about, "You can come and join me." And she says, "Okay." The love for life she has and the exploratory she wants to save it. She wants to save everybody, being sacrificed for that. I think it's a very cute and quiet role, and I think it works really well. And it's a nice compliment of basically the Doctor trying to find out whether he wants a friend or companion again. And obviously by the end, you kind of realise maybe he isn't quite sure of that. I've mentioned Geoffrey Palmer, nice little quick turn for the Captain, his last appearance in Doctor Who. Russell Tovey playing Alonso Frame, or Midshipman Frame. kind of whiny voice he plays in this has grated me a little bit, but it's a solid performance, really. Then you got David Chasen, who plays Foon Van Hoff. I love the duality she has to start with, and the fact that there's an underlying vulnerability to her, I suppose is the polite way of putting it. She's a vulnerable character at times, which I really do enjoy and like, and I think it's really cool the way it's portrayed, and the fact that she admits later on to Marvin that she called the competition line 5,000 times. I thought it was really sweet, and it's a nice little populist reference to the time when there's lots of competition lines at that point. There was a nice little dig at them from Russell T Davies there, which I quite enjoyed. Morven's quite fun as well. Not Marvin. Morven's quite fun as well, played by Clive Rowe. It's just a lovely little role here. You then got Clive Swift, who plays Mr. Copper, who's probably the best guest actor here. He is supposed to be the tour guide who gets everything wrong about Earth. It's admitted later on he's actually done it through one of these fake university courses to get it, and he wanted to do it because he didn't want to be selling anymore. He wanted a quieter life, and he felt afraid that he spent 10 years being a tour guide, or afraid to get 10 years in prison for giving false information with the Planet Stowe. I thought that was a really cute admission, and I think it's really well played. I love the fact that he got some petty cash out, thinking that £1 million would be enough to get petty cash and trinkets at the end, and the doctor says, well, your credit card's got a lot of money for £1 million is a lot of money. You can do a lot of stuff with that. You could get a house and things like that. And I love that cuteness and that loveliness at the end that he gets with Mr. Copper. It is lovely, and it's a great performance of Clive Swift. It's the best. Jobel was brilliant in Revelation of the Daleks, but he plays a different and more warm character here with Clive Swift just as well. And I really like it. Overall, I like the writing. Russell T Davies seems to be in a role. He seems to be in a groove. It's very much all the elements have come together. I think he's got an actor who he can write the Doctor for quite easily and quite well. It doesn't seem slow or tired. It's really well paced. There's lovely quiet moments along with all the action. The effects still stand up quite well 14 years later. They're not too bad, actually. And it is an enjoyable romp to watch. It is a bit light. Of course, it's a bit light in some respects because it is obviously a Christmas episode. But it's more like a traditional Doctor Who story in the some of the elements it works on. More than the previous two, and it is the best of the David Tenant era Christmas specials, I think, and that reflects in my marking, which you'll get in a minute. The music by Murray Gold, I like the music. It's not overpaced, it's not underwhelming. His leitmotifs of using Martha's music when the Doctor comes in and starts saving the ship at the end is interesting. But it's not overpowering, it's not pompous Murray Gold, it's still nicely underscoring everything and just makes the whole thing move along quicker, which is lovely to see. The direction by James Strong, pretty solid, pretty strong. James Strong's quite good with his directions, and this one's just another case of him having a very strong setup. There's a lot of effects of people falling through places, and the fact that people are sucked out into space or people are falling down into the engine chamber. It's really quite well done, and I do enjoy the effects and the way the direction is for that. And yeah, it is very much, I think it's two camera. I think it's very much two camera with what they're doing here, but it works well. It's quite enjoyable. It's quite fun, and it's lovely direction to be part of. It really is, and it's a nice little fit. Overall, I like the story. It's one of my favourite David Tennant stories of the era, and I give this 4 TARDISes out of 5. Okay, this is the first time that David Tennant has been included in this new kind of layout of the way you see the scores. So let's see how David Tennant's story, Voyage of the Dam, sits in with all the others, and how it fits in with the rest of the story so far. So, the David Tennant era. Voyage of the Dam sits in at 4 TARDISes out of 5, along with Turn Left. 3.5 TARDISes out of 5 for The Christmas Invasion and The Runaway Bride, and then with 3 TARDISes out of 5 are The Idiot's Lantern and 42. Overall, the bottom 2 stories are still Time Lash and Sleep No More with 2.5 TARDISes out of 5, and at the top are still 6 stories with 4.5 TARDISes out of 5, The Happiness Patrol, Inferno, The Day of the Doctor, The Caves of Androzani, The Tomb of the Cybermen, and Dalek. That's it for this review. Tell me what you think of Voyage of the Damned. Leave a comment down below. If you like it, leave a comment down below. If you don't like it, leave a comment down below if you agree or disagree with me. 3 times a charm, I suppose that'll work, but there we go. If you like this video, don't forget to like it and share it with the hashtag teamstructor, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like the channel as a whole, and don't forget to hit that notifications bell so you know when a new video comes out. General, new video every Sunday at 4 PM GMT. If you want to support the channel a bit more than just subscribing or sharing, you can go to the Patreon at patreon.com/Deanstructor. For as little as £1 or $1 a month, you can help support the channel. Just go to patreon.com/Deanstructor. Next week is the best of the vlogs of 2020-2021. Hopefully I can see you then. But until then, thanks guys for watching as always, and yeah, I suppose I'll see you later.